Gumpttion.
Time to lock in.
Gumpttion. Go tell a friend.
Bringing knowledge and wisdom.
With Todd and Tim.
Gumpttion podcast.
Now let's begin.
Gumpttion. Hey.
All right. Welcome back, y'all. This is another episode of Gumpttion. We have transitioned to online with the Zoom, which is cool. Adaptability is what we're doing.
Right.
We're showing right now. We have a very special guest in the building. Actually, a relative, part of the fam.
Because what's up, because?
Yo, what's going on, family?
What's going on? So Scott, man, Scott, for you all who don't know, is a native of Chicago and is a graduate of Lewis University, where he received his BA in social work and human services, with a minor in coaching, and was named a member of the 90s men's basketball all-decade team. So he can ball, just in case you might want to see him on the court if he still, get down on the court or whatever.
Lifetime ago.
He also served as an assistant men's basketball coach at the University of North Dakota, as well as Loyola University, Chicago. Scott is the founder of the Betheflow movement, which advocates for self-love, mental health, and wellness in underserved communities. Currently, Scott works in education as the Dean of Students and coach at a charter school in Chicago's inner city. He's a proud father of his amazing 3-year-old daughter, Rain. And
welcome.
Thank you for having me, fellas. I'm honored, definitely. I'm honored to be here with you.
Man, he look like he about 15, don't he? Look at him.
Looking young.
Man, you looking good, Carl.
Right. I'm trying to live
good.
right. That's it.
Yeah, so about this is life transition, so we're just going to go ahead and get straight into it.
Let's get into it.
Questions read before, so we're going to put you on the spot. I'm excited to hear your answers, but our first question is just, what are some key transitions that you've had in your life?
Man, honestly, I think my toughest transition was transitioning from being involved in sports my entire life to just becoming Scott. That was really hard for me. Really had some dark days with that transition. But again, being resilient, I'm sure we'll talk about some of those times, persevering through those times, being able to keep my head above water, going through, marriage and divorce. That was another transition. That was, game changer for me. But right now, like, the best transition is having, the birth of my daughter, being a father, and right now, like, truly, like, being the best version of myself, man, where I'm at right now in life. So yeah.
In those transitions, what you mentioned there were some of the toughest ones.
Yeah.
What now, looking back at them, when did you realize that moment that this was like, man, this is the make it or break it moment. This is I'm either going to go one way, and ultimately that started the transformation, if you will.
Yeah, honestly, it took for me to stand in my truth. I can't speak for others, but I know with myself, I found myself always finding excuses, making excuses. And it took me to stand in my truth, look myself in the mirror, and ask myself, is this it? Like, am I really going to continue to make excuses, or am I going to make a change? And when I actually ask myself this question, instead of, approaching life like, why is this happening to me? Opposed to, what is this teaching me? The game was over. It changed for me.
That's huge, man. That's huge. I mean, like, what was that like to tell yourself the truth? Like,
it's hard, man, because, you hear this old cliche, right? The truth hurts. Oh, it hurts. It hurts, especially when you got to call yourself out. It's one thing, when, you may let other people down because you believe in empathy, you believe in forgiveness, right? You may hurt someone's feelings, over time they may forgive you. But when you look at yourself in the mirror and you really like, who is this person? Like, am I ever going to be able to forgive me for becoming this version of myself? I mean, that's the hard truth, man, because no one else can save you. You really have to save yourself. And, facing that in my life, man, that's why I'm getting chill bumps right now talking about it, because because it's real. Like, this is straight up my journey, my story, and I'm really at a place of peace where I can talk about it without getting emotional, without feeling inadequate, because it's real.
I have a follow for you, Scott. So when did you come to the truth and you were able to acknowledge just where you were at in your life and be able to have the conversation that you just said that you had? Like, where were you at?
Well, the process began in 2016 when, the birth of my daughter. I knew I had to make life changes. I knew trying to be the life of the party and live this party lifestyle, one, it wasn't sustainable. Two, it wasn't affordable. And it was time, man. It really was time. But over time, like, I realized, like, I couldn't do it by myself. I realized that it wasn't a button I can just press to make it all stop. It was a process I had to go through in order to get on the other side of it.
Right.
Man, I love that, man. Because it's like in a game, you know how the coaches say, you can't turn it on in a game. You have to practice. You have to go through it. Yeah. And all of us being athletes, we know you can hit that button and things can change. Like, you get that extra juice. But if you don't understand what that button's about, where it's at, or direction you going, man, it's pointless. Okay. And to have to, like you said, relearn your truth, man. I mean, that you to sit in it and own it, and you can't point the fingers no more. And then to say, all right, you better than this. I know I'm better than this.
Yes.
So let me make a decision. Let me just do something. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a challenge we all face, right? Because it's so easy to quit, no matter sports, work, any goals you may have, weight loss goals, career-oriented goals. Like, you know what, this is too hard, I quit. But it's you really, like, embracing that challenge. Every day is a challenge. Regardless of how we approach this life game, it's a challenge on how you going to challenge yourself to be better than you were the day before. And I love it, man. Like, I wake up every day, like, boom, let's go. And it's been so long, like, that I actually had that feeling. It's great to have it back, man. And I won't lose it again.
That's real. And I guess just going off of that, see, I'm already getting excited. I'm getting charged up just off the conversation right now. But it kind of goes back to, like, kind of what Todd and I talk about. You talked about every day ready to take on that challenge. And we talk consistently about every day either you're growing or you're regressing. So, but it's your decision to make. And it seems that you made the decision to want to continue to grow and advance. And another thing that you talked about in terms of just, like, going back to, like, the party life, you said it wasn't affordable. You said it wasn't sustainable. So looking at things to sustain you is important and something that kind of resonated with me. So outside of, you talked about your daughter being born, what are some other things that you do for you? I'm curious, to help sustain Scott. What does Scott do for Scott right now?
Man, I say this, and I say it because I truly believe that meditation did change my life. Like, being able to be mindful in the moment, being able to not future trip about what's going to happen, just staying present, man. Like, being in the moment, appreciating that moment, and then whatever comes my way, being able to navigate through it. And another part of that was me stop having expectations of others, because I felt like in my life, when I expected someone to do something, a lot of times that ended in disappointment, which that disappointment ended up being a behavior that I probably shouldn't have, displayed. So once I let go of those expectations of others and only expected certain things of me, man, I'm telling you, it's crazy, man. Like, the mind is a powerful muscle, man. I'm telling you, like, being able to really be present and mindful on my everyday, the way I move and navigate every day, it's a game changer.
Man, I love it, man. I love it. I mean, because this is my cousin, so we go back for life, forever.
Yeah, no doubt.
and the different spaces we've been in.
Yeah.
We've interacted. We hung out all the time, and in our childhood and up until even recently, and to see know that some of the things that you had to go through, and just to see where you at right now, man, I'm so proud. It's amazing. And that's the thing, like, it don't matter what your past was. It don't matter what happened. At some moment, you have to make a decision and then own that decision, and then you put in the work. And I mean, it's amazing watching it, man. I'm from the outside looking in, so I know you're very active on social media. You got some things going. You're gonna tell us about that. But watching that process, watching from the thought all the way to now, I mean, it's amazing seeing the dream come true, or at least start to breathe, if you will.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. It's funny you say that because yesterday I actually posted like just a thank you video for those who've always supported Be the Flow, from whether just wearing the t-shirts to coming to different events to participating in the backpack giveaway, and the common denominator in the feedback I got was like, Scott, I love how consistent you've been with your movement. Yeah. And consistency is so key, man, on so many different levels, man. It really is, because you think about a lot of upstart businesses and companies and even relationships and moments and time in life where things start and then boom, you don't even hear about it anymore. But to say, I started this movement in 2016 and here we are 2020 and I'm here. I'm still here, I'm still advocating for the same things I've been advocating from day one. I've been able to grow. I've been able to learn. People continue to, support me even through this COVID pandemic. I was doing, workout videos, online, and people still joining me, it's dope, man. I just love it. I love the energy. The energy has been real. It's been crazy.
You're having fun, man. I like it. And that's your word, Tim. Consistency. That's like,
yeah, you hit it. I was like, oh, that's it right there, man. Yeah, that's something that I try to practice just with running every other day. Like I do it just to have some level of consistency, especially during a pandemic with everything changing and you not knowing what to expect every day. For me, one of the big things that I do, and I talked to Todd about this, was just kind of help develop some type of consistency within my life. Like that's really big. And a lot of that comes from me, because what you talked about in terms of having expectations of others and sometimes people not meeting those expectations, and then that and how you can feel from that. I'm like, dang, like you didn't follow through like you said you were going to do. So for me, one of the things that I do is just kind of hold myself accountable. And if I can hold myself accountable, then I'm good to go. Like it don't matter what's going on around me, but I need to have that consistency piece. So I guess just going off of that, you talked about a little bit of like some of the things that you learned, but specifically, have there been some like really big life lessons that you learned during, some of your key transitions? You touched on a couple of them, but are there any more?
That's basically like the core of it. I know, like again, there a lot of it as I continue to learn and challenge myself on different things in life, man. I just kind of just make sure I continue to set goals, right? We all need goals, regardless on if it's something you're trying to do health-wise or, mentally, physically, spiritually. I think goal setting for everyone is important. So, on top of everything else that I've already mentioned, I think goals are something that, everyone should continue to set and try and work on achieving.
So I got another question. This is something I ask a lot of people, and it's a question that, I'm just trying to just hear a lot of answers, see what is out there. And it's a very easy, simple question. In your opinion, in your life, in your world, what do you believe is the meaning of life?
I'm sorry, can you repeat it?
In your world,
yeah.
What do you believe is the meaning of life, your purpose? What do you mean the meaning of life is?
Whoa, that's a good question. You said it's a simple question. You got to put a little thought in that. The meaning of life. Wow. Man, you know what? I really believe play your part to leave here better than you found it. Because this is, man, it really is such a cynical world. There's so many different moving parts. It's you talk about segregation, you talk about, equality and injustice and the way systematically the world is set up, by people's bank accounts is so crazy, man. But in the big scheme of things, none of that really matters, you know, when you talk about, you know, if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't have to have a whole bunch of zeros in my bank account to understand what pure happiness is, right? And I think if you can ever get to that level of being like truly happy, comfortable in your own skin, not worrying about what others truly think about you, knowing that your purpose, your place on this planet has been well lived and well served, I'm good with that. You know, we talked about the past. You know, one thing that I always carry with me, my father said to me, he was like, Scott, I'm your father. I'm going to raise you. I'm going to teach you things. I'm going to tell you things. I'm going to show you things. But the best teacher you ever going to have is life. And he said, the way you respond to things in your lifetime is the life that you're going to live. And even like I said, when I talk about those dark days, you know, yes, there was a lot of self-doubt. There was a lot of like, you know what, I'm done. You know, I want to quit. But that little voice was always in the back of my head. It really was. And hearing him, you know, it's been almost 15 years now since he's been gone. But man, that voice, man, that's real. Like having that voice in my head helped me, so, you know, on so many different levels when I didn't even know he was helping me, you know. But yeah, you know, a lot of you hear people say, don't take life so seriously. You know what? Honestly, yeah, don't take life so seriously, man. Relax, you know, be happy. Find your place to move and navigate, you know. And I think if so many other people can do that, man, look, it'll be a different place.
Yeah.
Yeah, you touched on finding your way to kind of move and really be the flow in a way.
Yeah.
To be able to, you know, use that energy. So for somebody like me, I feel like I have a lot of energy. Or I'm 23 right now. I feel like I'm pretty ambitious and I like to do this and that. What advice would you have for like a young man like myself or a younger black male who's growing up and they have a lot of energy? And they might not necessarily have a lot of outlets, and you being where you're at right now, what advice would you have for that person?
Oh man, don't hold it in. Let it out. Any way you can let it out, you know, again, in a constructive way, get it out, man. Regardless if it's a good laugh, if it's a good cry. I mean, I think that's one thing, as men, especially black men, you know, I know my dad was like they're like, man, we don't cry, you know, all this stuff. And so for so long, I had all these emotions built in because I felt like if I cry, I'm weak. You know, I get all, you know, I was the same way. I had a lot of energy. I'm moving, I'm silly, I'm doing all these things. But, you know, certain people, especially my dad, come around, I'm like this, you know. But I tell these kids, man, like, get it out, man. There's so many different, you know, I just don't want to be, you know, talking generals, but there are outlets, you know, and the beauty about our day now is social media. Yes, I'm in the 40 and up club, but I have a TikTok account. And you know what? That's a whole nother level of communication with people where, honestly, it's so many talented people out here. And I think, you know, for young people having these different outlets and these platforms to be able to show their talents, express their emotions, I think that's dope, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, I like it. Hey, I mean, one of the things is what you got going on, your movement. What's tell us, give us something about the movement. What it's about, how to start.
Yeah,
and like, take us through it.
And it's funny, and I tell everybody the same story. I was literally I was at a gym. I was probably like 40 pounds overweight. I was just getting back in my fitness journey. And again, you know, like looking around at everybody in the gym, like, hey, you know, like, yeah, she over there lifting more than me, you know, like, I'm in my feelings, man, you know, and I'm like, you know, kind of having a pity party, but I'm on the weight bench and, you know, I'm doing my thing. And then literally, I don't know, in that moment, it was like a light bulb that just went in my head. And I just knew at that moment I had to do more. So I'm driving home. I'm like, man, what can I do to not only motivate me and find that structure and focus for me in my journey? How can I give that back to others, right? So I started thinking about some of the tools that I was shown along the way when I was, you know, digging myself out of the hole, and that was meditation. That was the first thing I thought I could bring to the table, like really like understanding it, what it really means to be mindful. A good friend of mine, she was really into yoga. She was like, I'm not really flexible. I'm 6'5", 260, baby. I'm like, yoga really isn't my thing. But it works, and so many people enjoy it. But then getting the fitness portion of it again, man, like those are three components that I felt that I can use those tools not only to help me, but to give back to my community, because I knew, from the neighborhood I grew up in, a lot of people don't know meditation, haven't been taught meditation. Same with yoga. People know about, workout and all this, but I knew putting that packaging those things together and being the flow of that positive energy, because I'm telling you, it's all about energy, man. Like right now, I didn't even have my coffee or espresso today, but I'm charged right now, But it's like, it really is energy, and that's how I came what will be the flow, because I can remember before those dark days, people used to tell me all the time, like I'll walk in the room like, yo, what's up, man? I feel your energy, man. Who are you? What you do? And I'm like, what's up? But it was just having that energy of like ready to go, and people can feel that, and so I just knew that was the base I wanted to start with. I wanted to be able to understand meditation better, implement yoga and fitness with it, and really be the flow of that, positive energy, and find a way to get that back to my community.
I like it, man. So what you mentioned, I just want to touch a little bit, and I think it's almost time. We're almost about to wrap it up, but I just wanted you to touch just a little bit on the importance of mental health and taking care of it, and just I want to hear a little bit of your words on it.
Well, I first I want to be clear and tell people, like, when I have opportunity to speak in front of groups or just answer questions, on social media, I want people to be very clear. Like, there is a difference between mental health and mental illness. There are some people in our country struggling with mental illness where medication is needed and it's necessary. But when you talk about mental health and the Be the Flow movement, we're all human. And some days it's tough to even get out the bed and be motivated to go out there and get it, right? It's days when you let that self-doubt, really creep in your mind, and you're wondering if you really got it, to give. And I think I found myself I clouded my mind with so much self-doubt. I was self-sabotaging opportunities in life, and that had to stop, So when you talk about mental health, like using those tools that I give back in the Be the Flow Wellness program, meditation helped me again to stay mindful, be present about what I needed to do. In the fitness portion as well as yoga, man, keeps me grounded. I mean, again, like I said, I was 40 pounds overweight. I've lost those 40 pounds, and that's just from me changing a lot of bad habits, and that had a lot to do with my mental health, the way I approached life at the time, to making that change. So I tell anybody who's looking for information, they definitely can reach out, on my social media platforms, look at some of the workout videos, some of the meditation videos, it's different things out here that you can do to help you find that place of peace.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's so big, find that place of peace, especially right now with COVID, and some people may be suffering from like isolation and not being able to see their family members. It's a tough time right now. So definitely with your resources and everything, we want to share that and get the message out, just because we want people to help. We want people to find their peace, and to find that joy and to find that happiness, because it's so important.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I'm feeling good. You got another question?
Yeah, no, just can you give out your tags? How people can find you?
Yeah. Well, you can find me on Facebook. It's just at Be the Flow. Instagram is at Be the Flow 2016, and also you can find me at Scott.Anthony44. So a lot of the same messages. Every day I usually try and post an inspirational post. A vibe of the day, because it's all about, like I say, energy and vibes, man. And something, I actually want to read something to you all that I read, I found today that it hit me on a different level. And I'm like, wow, that's dope. I want to share this with them today. It says, connected to everything, but attached to nothing. Attachment is rooted in fear. You lose your fear of loss when you realize you already whole. And I'm getting chill bumps right now reading that, because again, what is fear, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy to get caught up in being afraid to fail, being afraid to live. And I'm telling you, when I had that moment, and I want to thank you, cuz I want to thank you publicly, man, because when you open my eyes to understanding about, you know, life path and things that can really like open your mind to different ways to approach life, it was game changing, man. Like it really was, because I began to educate myself on a whole nother level. And it helped me believe in those principles and those things. And I haven't looked back since. So I want to thank you for that.
Love, man. You know that, baby. I mean, it was, like I said, man, it was, we all trying to do what we, like you said it, actually, what do you do that can also help others? And you don't know when, you just speak in your life. I'm just speaking my life. And then it's like, man, you know, this is something that happened in my life. Tim has said that many times. This is something that happened in my life. And like you just say, that's gumption. That's what it's all about. That's gumption. And you are able to live your life, and your life enriches others just by being you, being authentically you. Yeah, you shouldn't be afraid to be yourself. Be yourself. You shouldn't be afraid to take risks. Have fun. Find that joy. Ultimately, please that, and we talked about this last week, that inner child. Had that conversation. Let that child live, baby. You know?
No doubt about it, man. But this is a dope platform you all have, man. Continue to do it. The energy you guys bring on every show. I had the opportunity just to, to continue to follow you guys, watch a different podcast, man. This has been awesome, man. So keep up the great work.
We appreciate it. Appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, thanks for being here, man.
I guess a quote I want to leave with, just because y'all, dropping quotes and dropping all this knowledge, man, from my man Nipsey Hussle, man. And he said, the highest human act is to inspire. And I truly believe that. So when we talk about our stories, Scott, when you tell your story and the stuff that you went through in order to get to where you're at right now would be the flow. I think people resonate with that because it's genuine. It's real, it's authentic, and you talk about the vibes and energy. I can feel the vibes and energy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I needed this today. You know what I'm saying? Like, today's been a good day, but it can always get better. So just the positive vibes and energy, man, I feel it right now, and I want other people to feel it as well. So again, it's been a pleasure, and I really appreciate you for just sharing a little bit of your story.
No doubt. I appreciate it. Again, man, thank you for having me. This was an honor, man. And, I definitely be in touch and keeping up with the show.
Yeah.
No doubt. One love, baby.
All right, man. So, appreciate it. Thank you. Hey.
All right.
Peace.
All right, one love, fellas.
Oh, man. Love.
Love.